ready to daven, was wondering why two Yidden ran into the shul so quickly, and no one could understand why. Everyone in the shul got quiet, and they see that there walks into the shul Beryl and Chaim, and they're both screaming at each other. It's your fault. No, it's your fault. And they're screaming so loud that the whole shul got quiet. They were just about ready to daven. Yes, it was the first night of Pesach. All the Yidden were gathered in the shul to daven when they were interrupted by the loud noises of the arguments of Beryl and Chaim. What are they going to do now? What's the argument about? Beryl says, it's your fault. Chaim says, no, it's yours. They decided, let's go straight over to the Rav. Tell the Rav what happened. The Rav was sitting in the front of the shul and listened in carefully to the problem that came before him. Beryl calls out and says, Chaim was supposed to sell the chametz. Whose chametz? We have a big, big factory that we make beer. And beer is chametz. And we were supposed to take all the chametz and we're supposed to sell it. And Beryl was supposed to do it. Oh no, Chaim, you were supposed to do it. Oh no, Beryl, it was your job this year. We divided up the things and you said you're going to sell it. Oh no, you said you're going to... And there in front of the Rav, right in front of the Rav, was a big heated argument. Who was supposed to sell the chametz? Well, says the Rav, tell me, what is the argument about? Did you sell the chametz? That's the whole problem. The chametz was not sold in the big, big factory now. The whole factory full of beer and the machines and the kalim and everything. And now it's going to be wasted. Because a Yid who keeps chametz on Pesach, all the chametz is taken away from him. The Torah says that a Yid is not allowed to own any chametz on Pesach. And if you do, you're not allowed to use it anymore. That means our whole factory is going to be lost. Chaim felt very sad. Beryl felt very sad. Chaim felt more sad because he did such an avera of having chametz on Pesach. You're not supposed to. That's why they're in front of the Rav. The Rav is going to tell them what to do. The Rav says, well, right now we have to daven. But in Yud Hashem, after davening, I'll meet with you and we'll discuss the matter. After davening was over, the Rav says, well, listen, all the beer, all the machines, and everything that was not sold, that is all lost. Maybe some of the machines can be saved yet. We'll talk about it after Yom Tov. But the beer, for sure, has to be spilled out. Beryl and Chaim walked home to make Kiddush, to make the Seder with the family. They felt so sad. Chaim felt more particularly sad because of the Aveira. He doesn't care so much about losing the money. What bothered him was the Aveira of having chametz on Pesach. Wow. Even though the Rav told him it was a mistake, do teshuvah, Hashem will forgive you. But he still felt terribly sad. He wished that this would never have happened. There the Rav wished them a good Yom Tov, and they went home, spent their Seder. Beryl went to his house, Chaim went to his house, and as soon as Chaim came home to make Kiddush, Chaim thought to himself, so what? Okay, So I lost the factory. Thousands and thousands of dollars. I wish I never had that factory. Look what kind of avera I have done now of having chametz on Pesach. I wish this factory never was here. To me, in my mind, it's as if the factory is not even here. I'm going to make up in my mind that it's batel v'hefker. It's like nothing, as if it does not exist. And then, with such a good feeling, Chaim was able to sit down. I feel so much better. Now I can make Hiddush. Now I can have a Seder. And I can have a wonderful time with my family. In his mind, the factory does not exist anymore. Baruch Hashem. They made Kiddush, and they went through the whole Seder, and Reb Chaim was in a very, very happy mood. Even though the children, his wife, the guests were wondering, look, they're losing a whole factory, and Reb Chaim is still so happy and yontiftik. Yes, in Reb Chaim's mind, he erased the factory as if it's not here. After the Seder was over, everyone went to sleep. Reb Chaim was just about ready to lay down when suddenly, there out of the window, he saw something which struck his eye. He sees the sky is red. Why is the sky red in the middle of the night? He looks more careful, and he sees from the distance a lot of smoke. Uh-oh. Seems like there's trouble at the end of the village. Chaim was not even in pajamas yet. He just put on his coat and ran outside to see what's happening. And he's running and running to the end of the village to see if there's anything he can do to help. If chas v'sholem someone is in danger. He came to the end of the village, and there in front of his eyes, the whole factory is burning in flames. Yes, the beer factory of Reb Chaim and Reb Beryl was burning in flames. Look, the flames are going up to the sky. They're so high, so hot, you can't even get close. And even as much as water as the fire department tried to spray on it did not help. And after a short time, all that was left was just a pile of ashes. Reb Chaim was standing there with a smile on his face. Baruch Hashem! Hashem did the beer chametz for me. Hashem burnt my chametz. Thank you, Hashem. Thank you so much. People standing around him are so worried. Oy, Reb Chaim must feel terrible that his whole business got burnt down. Reb Chaim, don't feel bad. Hashem will help. You get your business started again. Don't cry. I look at Reb Chaim's face, and you see he's smiling. He's happy. I thought something is wrong with him. What's going on? After the fire was over, everyone marched and went straight to the shul. Because in the early hours of the morning, they used to have a minyan for Tehillim. Reb Chaim followed them. And Reb Chaim took the Tehillim, and he was the chazan. And he began saying the parakim of Tehillim with such a simcha. A Yom Tov Tika Simcha, like saying Hallel. Everyone who was in shul was shocked to see, hey, I think Reb Chaim went crazy. He saw his factory burnt down and made him cuckoo. Look, he's happy. Something's wrong with him. How can a man be happy if he knows that his factory is burnt? Reb Chaim said the Tehillim, and after they finished, Reb Chaim turned around and said to everyone, I want to thank Hashem for the great miracle that Hashem burnt my chametz for me. They found out later that it was a little house that was right near this factory in which there lived Goyim, and there was some kind of argument between two families. One of them decided to punish and fight and hurt the other family by making a fire, and that fire spread to the whole factory, and that's how it burnt down. For Reb Chaim, this was a great simcha. He was so happy that his chametz is gone. Later on in the morning, Reb Beryl wakes up, Moida Ani, he washes Negelwasser, rubs his eyes. Oh, I feel so good. I had a good night's sleep. Oh, what's about the factory? What's about the factory? He comes into shul, and everyone gathers around him to hear what he has to say. He says, say about what? He say, don't you know your factory burnt down? What? Took a short time, and he realized what really happened. But Beryl also joined in realizing that this was from Hashem, because every year they were so careful in keeping the mitzvah of getting rid of all chametz. And now for the first time they made a mistake. When Hashem sees that you really try and you really do your best, Hashem takes care of the rest. And then right after Yom Tif, both of them, Reb Beryl and Reb Chaim, once again was able to start their business. And because they didn't complain to Hashem, the opposite, they thanked Hashem for taking away their chametz. Hashem rewarded them, that later on they got their business started, and they got rich and richer, more than they were even before. This was Kinderlach, and this is also a lesson for us, that when it comes to Pesach, the Arizal says that a Yid who is careful for even one little drop of chametz, Hashem will protect you for the whole year, that you'll never have chametz ever again. Not only chametz of bread, of chametz, real chametz, that we're supposed to have during the year, but it means you will not have any averis. The Yetzer Hara is just like chametz. The Yetzer Tov is like matzah. I'm going to ask, who can tell me how many letters are in the word chametz? Raise your hand. 3 letters. Ches, Mem, Lainget Tzadik. Chametz has 3 letters. Very good. Now, how many letters are in the word matzah? Sarla? 3. Matzah has 3. Mem, Tzadik, Hey. Now, Kinderlach, if we take the letters of matzah and the letters of chametz, we have ches by chametz, and we have a mem and a tzadik. Now, which letters are the same by chametz and matzah? Is the ches the same? Do we have a ches in matzah? No. Do we have a mem in matzah? Is there a mem in matzah? Mem, right. Is there a tzaddik in matzah? There is a mem and a tzaddik. The only difference is the ches and the hey. In matzah, it's a hey. In chametz, it's a ches. Now, Kinderlach, a ches and a hey really look the same. There's only one little difference. They're almost like brothers. They almost look the same. They have a top, and they have a side, and they have another side. 2 legs and a top. So what's the difference of the ches and the hey? The hey has a little opening on the top. The ches is closed up. And that's the difference between the Yetzer Tov and the Yetzer Hara. Don't tell him that. Hey, who said that? Don't tell him that. I shouldn't tell him that. I am going to tell him. Yetzer Hara doesn't want me to tell you that he is like a ches. A ches doesn't let you escape. He gets you into the averis, he gets you caught, he locks you up, he doesn't let you do teshuvah. Tell him all about it. Oh, I should? I'll tell him all about it. Yitzhak Tov wants me to tell you that a hay has an opening on the top. And the opening on the top means there's room for teshuvah. Matzah teaches you always to be low, like matzah. Not to be a big shot. When your tati or mommy tells you something, if your Rebbe tells you something, you should do it. You make yourself low for your Rebbe, for your tati and mommy. That's matzah. Then there's always room for teshuvah to become better. But Yetzer Hara is chametz, a ches for chametz. He makes himself big. He says, don't listen to your tati and mommy. Be a big shot. Then there's no room for teshuvah. We can't become better. And that's the lesson, Kinderlach, of chametz and matzah. And that's why on Pesach, Hashem gives us extra koyach for the whole year, that we should be able to serve Hashem in the way of matzah and no more chametz. And now back to Rabbi